All right, what's going on, everybody? We're back for episode 6 of Smith's Grove Sanitarium podcast. I'm John,
And I'm Josh.
and today we're back again for kind of our final discussion of the Scream series. Well, so far, we don't know where it's going to go, but
Until next year.
Yeah, it's right. Scream 6 just came out, I guess, a few days ago. And we just figured it was a good time to discuss it, kind of jump into that. And it's kind of the hot topic in horror and kind of give our thoughts and an overrun. And like Josh was just saying, I mean, we don't know where it's going to go, but it could be Scream 7 next year.
Yeah, and spoiler alerts in this video. It's going to be a full spoiler-filled discussion. So if you haven't seen Scream 6, go ahead and click off. And but yeah, there's definitely going to be a Scream 7. They've already greenlit it. They greenlit it before it even came out. But there's made $44 million this weekend, so which is the biggest Scream opening ever. So
dang, I didn't realize it made that much already. It's crazy.
Yep, it's already beat its budget in its opening weekend. So
wow. So what did you?
It's made like 60-something million, like worldwide.
Yeah, 67. Holy crap.
Yeah, so it's doing pretty well.
Man, so what did you think? Well, I guess if you want to give a synopsis and like what's your thoughts about it so far?
Well, essentially the movie's like just the core four, as they call themselves, from Scream 5. They survive and they move to New York to get away from what happened in Woodsboro. And a new Ghostface emerges and kind of chases them from there. And then from there, it's kind of just standard Scream movie, but it's in New York pretty much. But what did I think about it? I don't know. It's a tough onion to peel. It's this many layered onion.
Definitely.
I've seen some people that say it's the best since the first. I've seen some people say they didn't like it at all. I've seen some people say that it was all right. And I think I'm in that category. Like, it was all right. I don't think I loved it. I don't think it's terrible, but I think it's okay.
Yeah.
In general.
It's that's kind of where I landed. I still am. I don't know. When I walked out of the theater, I was just very. I didn't really know what to think, to be honest with you. And it's not really a good or a bad thing, me saying that. I just didn't know how to feel about it. Like, I walked out of it feeling like, okay, I definitely had a bigger anticipation for what it was going to be. And I thought, I will say, I thought it would be better than I was getting. But I still don't know exactly how to feel about it. I'm with you. I'm in the middle.
I'll tell you one thing. I would say my ultimate feeling after watching the movie was disappointment. That was my ultimate feeling. Because, like, I don't know, the ending was just so... I was expecting it to be like a new direction, but it was just really bland, I guess. More of the same. So, I mean, I guess that's my fault for getting my hopes up. I was going to do something different, but...
Yeah, they really...
I just thought it was going to.
Well, they teased this whole thing about... I don't know. I agree. It's sort of like the same thing, and it ended... they ended this movie kind of like they ended the fifth movie, where they ended it sort of without any real cliffhanger. And that's the opposite of what I heard. I heard that this movie was going to end on a cliffhanger. It does not. So I don't know what I was reading. I must have been reading bogus rumors.
So how did this end compared to what you saw in that leak or whatever? Because I never saw that leak.
So I guess we'll go, okay, so spoilers, but I guess spoilers in the sense that this is not what happens in the movie. But what I read was, I did not read, when I read about this movie before, I did not read that spoilers, Richie's family are the killers. That's not what I read. I actually read that I read that it was the same three, but that they were Vince's family from the first movie, from the fifth movie. The guy that was like the older dude that was like hanging out and wanting to hit on Chad's girlfriend in the fifth movie, the guy in the car at the beginning getting stabbed like that. I was like, well, that's random. So that didn't happen. And then I read that at the end of this movie, apparently the movie ends with Sydney. She gets a phone call and goes, hello, and it's Ghostface. And he's like right there in the house with her, and it ends. So it's like a cliffhanger. And I was like, well, that's interesting. You just end right there, and there's a 7th movie, but that's definitely not what happens in this. So I don't know where that came from.
And I know a lot of people saw a leaked video or whatever that showed the killer reveal, which I didn't see.
That was accurate. I did see that, and that was who they identified as the killers was accurate, but the motive and the plot was not right. So that's kind of what was strange.
That's what I saw Lee say from Drum Dums. So I was like, well, I mean, I guess he didn't get fully spoiled on it, but I don't know. To me, I'll just say this about the movie. I like the movie for the most part, but the killers I dislike greatly. I hate the killers. The ending lets the entire movie down to me. Like, the reveal was so damn disappointing. Like, Richie's family and the 2 people, like the 2 kids, are like they're like hardly in the movie. It's like kind of obvious it's them because they're hardly in the movie.
Yeah. So I guess the movie, I'm assuming anyone who's watching this now has seen the movie. I mean, it's kind of, it's just like 5. It's the core 4, Cindy, Chad, Mindy, Sam, and Tara. They go to New York. They're living their life in college, and then there's some stuff that happens. Ghostface gets in their life again. Gail makes a cameo. And yeah, at the end, you find out that, like you said, the killers are 2 of their friends. One of them who fakes a death earlier in the movie that she's gutted, Quinn. And then the other killer is one of the guys in the movie, the new friends, who is suspicious the whole movie, but they play on the joke that he is suspicious, and that was Ethan. And then the third killer is the detective in the movie, who is the father of Quinn, and that is Dermot Mulroney, and he plays Wayne Bailey, Detective Bailey. So they are Richie's family. They're coming for revenge. He is really a cop, but basically they've set up this whole scenario. They've gotten close to the core 4. But they are seeking revenge for Richie's death, right? And it is weird because I felt that they were crazy. I noticed a few things with this movie. One, it's pretty obvious they were doing kind of like an homage to Scream 2, going to college, different setting. Revenge of the family revenge being the killer, just like in part 2 of Mrs. Loomis. Here it's Richie's family getting revenge for him. I noticed that the Bailey guy, the Mr. Bailey, the older cop, his performance at the end, I'm pretty sure this is what they were going for. He was acting like Mickey. He was trying his best to do Mickey, like crazy, kind of silly, kind of goofy, odd. It kind of worked for me. It kind of didn't. I kind of was amused by it because I was like, oh, I see what he's doing. But then he was kind of so crazy. I was like, he's acting really strange.
I didn't dig it whatsoever. I didn't dig those killers at all. Like, that completely missed the mark for me. So that's what hurts it a lot for me, because I like most of it other than that. But I don't know if you noticed, there's a couple gaps in logic in this movie too that I found that I was like, well, that's weird. Like, one is whenever they fake the death of his daughter or
Quinn,
yeah, and he gets kicked off the force. How in the hell did all of them would have been like, we saw her dead, but she was clearly alive. Like, there was no, like, nobody took her body to a morgue or anything like that. So, like, what's the plan there? Let's say they get away with the plan, and they kill them, or they pin it on Kirby or whatever. How are they going to be like, oh, well, my daughter actually didn't get gutted. She was perfectly fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they briefly went over that at the end where he said, oh, I swapped a body and put a prosthetic there. But like you said,
it just doesn't make sense.
She would have to go into hiding or change her identity.
Yeah, she would never be able to be in public again. Like,
unless that
she's
was
just miraculously alive.
Unless that was their plan. Now, I personally think what I got from this, and I'm not trying to justify the movie, but I took it when they revealed this family's out of their fucking mind. They're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it like they just don't think that far ahead. They're just like, we're crazy. Our son was crazy. You killed him. He indulged in movies, you know.
I would just think they would have realized that wasn't her before the end even happened. You know what I mean? Like, there is no way that would have ever slipped by. And then another thing is, there's a big reveal at the end of the movie for like, I don't even know why he does this, but it's for like 0.5 seconds. He tells them it's Kirby. He's like, oh, I called the Atlanta field team or whatever. It is Kirby's, you know, whatever, MIA or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, it's Kirby. And then like 5 seconds later, it's like, nope, it's me. Like, there's not even like any time for it to settle and be like, oh, maybe it is Kirby. Because earlier in the movie, there's a line where he's like, call the field support. But who did he do that for? He only did that for the audience because none of the other characters were around him. So he did that for the audience because there was nobody else that would have been done for.
Yeah, you're right. In that sense, like, I didn't even think about that, man. Like, what is he? Who is that for? You're right. Like, what is the people he's working with? They're going to be like, we don't think
that was clearly just for us to hear. And that was it.
He's just really dedicated to being crazy. I think if you go through the idea that these three people are out of their mind, it kind of works, but I also agree it's silly. It's absolutely silly. But if you just think that these people are just not like Mickey in part 2, Mickey's whole logic was, what was it? Johnny Cochran on the witness stand. Like, he was like so out there, you know, like,
yeah, he was insane.
He just wanted to get famous. He didn't care if he burned up like in a ball of flames. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know why it was just picking at me thinking about that because to me it was just disappointing reveal. It was like, God, because like I was expecting it. I wanted to be somebody more influential, and I didn't like the twist that it's like, oh, it's 3 killers.
Yeah,
I didn't really like that. And then also that whole thing where apparently Richie, first off, dude's a cop in New York City. I'm sure they make a lot of money. Do they make enough money to buy murder memorabilia from some of the most famous murders in America? Probably not. And then also, Mindy says at one point in the movie, she says, oh, yeah, well, lightning, you know, it doesn't strike the same place twice. Dude, do you realize this happened to Sidney Prescott 5 times, right?
Legit.
I would not say that.
Well, and you're right. I mean, I was thinking that too. And like, also, I know that this series is not meant to be ultra realistic. It's meant to be realistic, but it's not meant to be realistic in that it could happen. It's meant to be that these people can die. But how in the world would anybody be able to obtain murder evidence like that? You can't do that. When murder evidence happens, like, it's gathered, even if he worked in Woodsboro, there's no way that he could take all those random pieces of evidence and get like, that doesn't happen.
And I mean,
you know,
that setup was so cool. I like that idea and everything, but they don't do anything with it. There's nothing done with it. It's not even like nothing happens with it, you know? I feel like so much more could have been done with all that shit. But it's like, why were they wearing masks from all the movies? Just so at the end they can be like, here, you need to put on Billy's mask.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
And then she just fucking stabs him to death, just like she does with his fucking with his son. Like, brutally stabs him to death.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, and then the TV thing, they used that gag, whatever, which they didn't even show it. That she pushes the TV, you don't see it falling.
It just comes out of nowhere, like where'd that come from? What the hell?
I guess that maybe you could argue that I feel like I'm defending first. Okay, and for the record, I agree with everything you're saying. I'm trying to think of this from like a perspective of what they might have been thinking when they were making this. They probably, when they were doing the mask thing, they probably were going, okay, Richie's dream was to make a horror movie. Richie's dream was to recreate this scenario. So that was probably their way of paying tribute to him. Like, oh, Richie never got to do this, so we're going to do it for him. Even though that's stupid, that may have been what the writer's logic was, that they're respecting their.
But at the same time, at the beginning of the movie, that guy's like, well, I just want to finish Richie's movie. And he's like, who gives a fuck about a movie?
Yeah, you're right.
Kills him.
Yeah, he does say that. That's true. That kind of counteracts that point. Know. Yeah, and that definitely goes into those lines that you were talking about in Scream 4 when he goes, fuck Bruce Willis. That was one of those lines where when the guy goes, I just want to finish the movie, like, is that really the last thing you'd say before you're going to die? Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably not. And that movie, or that opening, I really liked, actually. I actually really liked it. Up until then, it's like, I was really hoping that guy was going to be the killer. I was really hoping that, because I was like, oh shit, they're actually doing something different. And I was like, oh wait, no, they're not.
That would have been interesting. Yeah. I mean,
that's what I said in the last video. I was like, reveal the killer earlier on in the movie.
Yeah. And he would have been he didn't look dangerous. So that would have been an unsuspicious killer, right? He didn't look like, he just looked like a guy in college or something.
Yeah, he was Flash Thompson from Spider-Man.
Oh, that is who that was, the new ones. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that I will say the things that ruined this movie, well, not ruined, but I didn't like. Aside from, there's two things. One, the big first one is the dumb character decisions. Now, I will say the opening of the movie when Samara Weaving, I think is her name, goes into the alley, I didn't have too much of a problem with that, simply because she was thinking someone was in danger. So she was kind of like, oh, where are you? She was freaking out thinking someone's in danger. She wasn't in the mindset of this is Ghostface. She was like, oh shit, I'm on a date with this guy and he's getting attacked. Like, it's not smart, but I could at least say, well, she's just trying to be a good person.
Agreed.
So that was kind of believable.
I didn't think anything of that either.
Yeah. And I know that was the whole thing, was that she kind of fell for something that would happen in a slasher movie, and she's a teacher of slasher history.
Which, by the way, what class is that? I've never heard of a class like that. He's like, oh, she gave me a C on my Jell-O paper.
Right.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I see it. That was definitely the director's like trying to be like, yeah, Jell-Os are cool now. We're gonna talk about this. Like, yeah, that was silly.
But what do you have problems with? What's your fault?
That's the biggest. Some of the let me say this before the main one. The boyfriend of Samantha
is a big nothing burger.
That guy, he was so stupid. Like, first off, he acted like Jesse from Breaking Bad season 1. Like, he was just like, yo, bitch. Like, just very, like, basic.
Like a dumbass.
Yes, so stupid. Like, he did not seem like like, Samantha dated Richie in 5. And, you know, Richie was, like, kind of a smart guy. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is not the kind of guy that Samantha would date.
That character goes nowhere. And then in that freaking scene, I love that when he's like, hey, screaming at the window and shit. They're not going to notice you. You're like a whole building away.
Yeah, like, why would he? Okay, right when that happens, why would he not call the cops and run over? Like, why would he stand in? Because he sat in the window. Like, he literally watched it and he was like, oh, here's a ladder. Like, why would you not immediately just, like, run? Why would you stand there? Like, what was that?
Oh, my God. And then that character, I saw Uncle Bill talk about that scene. Because he's like, this chick got stabbed in the stomach and got to her, like, halfway open and it was still, like, fine. Oh, my God.
Are you talking about the one that falls off the ladder?
Yeah, the one that falls. Like, she wouldn't even have been able to move after that.
No.
And then this may be one of your faults, but the fact that, like, people are literal, like, human pin cushions, they can just take insurmountable amounts of stabs, just like, like in that scene with Chad, he's like, he's fine. He's fine.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
fine.
Dude. That was
come
ridiculous.
On. And I like him. He's a good character. He's great. He's probably the best one in the movie, to be honest. I liked him because, like, whenever Ghostface comes about, he kicks Ghostface's ass, like,
yeah.
And then two of them come out and just start stabbing him.
Yeah, that was so dumb. The way he's kind of like, I think what they're doing with him, he's kind of like the new Dewey. Not in that he is like Dewey, but you know how Dewey always would live in the old ones. They'd be like, "Oh, Dewey's alive!" Like that's their gag. They're like, "Oh, Chad's alive," because it's like everyone. I guarantee you, the next movie it's going to happen again. He's going to almost die, and they'll let him live.
And then Gail is like, you know, so it's like, oh, she's still got a pulse. It's like, oh my God, Jesus. And then Mindy gets stabbed in the stomach all the way in, knife all the way in. And then she's at the end. She's like, hey, talking fine and everything. I'm like, dude, you're dead in ICU.
Yeah, she was walking around. She was like, I should have guessed the killers.
There is no fucking way.
Yeah. And you know, the boyfriend, one of the other dumb things was they asked the boyfriend to stay out, Danny. They asked him to stay outside because she doesn't trust him. So what does he do? He waits like, I don't know, 35 minutes, and then he calls the cops, and then he comes in at the end of the movie. Like, if that was anybody else in that scenario, they would be like, okay, and they'd immediately call 911 and go, I think something's about to happen. You should get here. Instead, he waits like forever. He's like, I call backup, yo. I'm like, that is so stupid. Like, why? Like, why would they write? That's what got me, stuff like that. Like, why would you write stupid character decisions like that in a movie? That it's, you know, even if it's the Gail thing, that's the big one for me. Gail in the movie gets chased by Ghostface, ends up in her closet with a gun. So what does she do? She acts smart with the gun. She shoots the gun through the closet. It's kind of funny. She hangs up on him. She goes to get the gun. She shoots. What does she do? She's got the gun. She opens the door. All she's got to do is stand in the closet with the gun and wait. She can literally sit there.
Call the police.
Stand there for 12 hours and don't move. That's all you got. I mean, it's a boring movie, but that's like all you have to do. But she opens the door. Like, that's something that, would Gail Weathers really do that if she had been through this that many times?
Well, and then also one thing I don't like either is that it feels like her character they just shat all over her character. Because like it's like she just reverted back from all the growth she had. She's just the same character again. Like, really? She reneged on their deal to not write about it and everything. It's like, okay, now you're just making me not like her. Like, really? Yeah. I sincerely doubt she would have done that.
I agree, because that's, you know, it's funny. I was watching another channel. I won't name them, and it was kind of a smaller channel that I subscribed to. They're out of Canada. Nice guys, but one of the guys on the show said specifically, he said, I liked Gail's performance because it's the old Gail, and I'm like you. I thought to myself, wait a minute. She was actually a human being in part 5. She was nice. She had evolved. She was grown up. Even in 4, she had kind of evolved some. And it's like here, she's acting the way she did in like Scream 2. Yeah. And I'm like,
it doesn't make sense.
I agree. Like, that was weird. Like,
and I feel like it just shits all over anything Dewey, like his legacy too. It's like,
yeah.
Well, screw you. I'm back to being the old same person I've always been.
The only thing missing was the camera guy where he was like, I ain't going to die.
Yeah. They should have had that. That would have been great. And then I love that little line where it's like, oh, Sydney ain't coming down here. She hopes y'all are fine during the attacks, though. It's like,
she did.
Jesus.
Yeah, like, she was so unbothered, too, when her boyfriend dies, that guy. She was just like, oh, yeah, I guess he wasn't. Because the Ghostface was like, I guess he wasn't strong enough. She goes, I guess not.
I guess those muscles didn't make a difference. She's like, no, I guess they didn't. It's like, okay.
I'm like, damn. Like,
yeah,
I know
you're
just
cold-hearted bee. Jesus.
I didn't mind her acting in it. I agree. She just, the way they wrote her, it was not, the closet thing really bothered me because that's just, I know I know that people do stupid things in slasher movies, but God, when you're a character and you survive 5 of these fucking things, like, it's stupid to write somebody acting stupid. That just doesn't make sense.
Scream is a freaking smarter series. It's not a series where it's now it's just all the tropes that are made fun of.
That's why Scream 5, Sydney was so smart. When she's walking up the stairs, what does she do? She shoots every door. She doesn't even wait. She's like, you got 5 seconds, I'm shooting. She doesn't make a mistake. That's why people like her. It's because she's not a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know? She's kind of like Laurie in the Halloween movies. She doesn't do, like, Laurie's very smart too with that kind. That's why those kind of characters grow and people like them. But yeah.
Yeah, oh my God. It was just really dumb.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
But that's really my big complaints, is just the character decisions. And I mean, I like the way it was shot. I really, I thought the kills were brutal. I mean, I love this. I did really enjoy the subway scene. I thought it was like shot very well. And I thought it was suspenseful. Like, it was very, it was the one scene in the movie where I was nervous. I was kind of like, you know, the lighting and how it would get dark and they couldn't see. And
that was the shittiest subway in New York City, though. It just kept the lights kept going off. I'm like, seriously, you can't pay. You can't get these subways to work. The lights keep going on, and nobody notices a guy stabbing someone in the back of a packed subway. Like,
right.
Like, nobody's gonna notice this. It's fine.
Yeah, like, how would you not? Even if it was it Halloween? Was that their justification? Was it supposed to be Halloween?
Guess. Yeah.
They didn't say Halloween, but it looked.
But
like
I'm just like, Halloween. Yeah, I think it was Halloween. But I'm like, why in the fuck? I mean, somebody's getting stabbed, and everybody's like, just like somebody's just passed out asleep right in front of somebody getting stabbed. Like,
yeah. And she had to, like, people had to scream. That, like, the one Ethan guy had to scream just so he could, like, you know, like, get attention.
Yeah, get help. Yeah, there is no way. That is not accurate.
So I'm guessing that it's kind of hard to make sense of who's doing what in the movie. Like, I guess in the bodega, you could say that was probably the Detective Bailey, the older guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess, like, on the train, I guess that would have been Quinn, the girl, because Ethan was there. He was
there, yeah.
But it's kind of hard to add up all of it, of who it was in different scenes. I would say it was probably Detective Bailey in the house when he threw the girl off the ladder, or like shook it. That was probably him, because he was pretty strong. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I don't love the New York, even though the New York scene was a change and I could see why they did it. I didn't love that they did this in New York. I just feel like when you go away from Woodsboro, it makes Scream less screamy. Like, even though part 2 was at college, that still felt,
it was like small town.
Yeah, that felt, and I think because that was filmed in university, it was UGA in Georgia. So it felt, like you said, small town. I just feel like when you put something in New York City, it's hard to make that intimate, because it's hard to make things feel suspenseful, because it's
and it's like, you know, it's like Ghostface is always there. That was so weird. Like, as soon as he calls them on the phone, it's like, okay, well, you better watch your back, Sam. And then he just jumps out and starts attacking them immediately. Yeah. And then, like, they're at the house just hanging out, and then he's there at the apartment or whatever. He's in the apartment. Like, how in the hell?
Yeah, I think if you took out, thinking about it more, if you took out the opening and you took out the subway scene, this movie goes down a lot for me. I go more towards not liking it at all.
And then I don't know what the hell was going on with Hayden Panettiere or whatever.
Yes,
Kirby. It was like she was like glowing. She looked fake. I don't know what it was. Like, to me, like, she looked not real. Like, when she was there, and like, her character did not do anything at all.
No,
she did nothing.
No, I think Uncle Bill and CK on Dead Pit, they were talking about this too, because it feels like the way she was acting, I don't know. It's like it was almost like she was trying to remember how she acted when she was 18.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just weird. Like everything she did she looked odd. She acted odd. Something was off about her. I don't know.
Oh, and they said that she was like 40 something, but she's like 33.
Is she only 33? Wow.
Yeah.
She's got like there's something about her face. Like she's not overweight or anything, but there's something about, like you said, the way I don't know, the glowing.
I thought she looked like a robot or something.
Yeah, it was
not
weird.
Even real. Like every scene she was in, I was like, she doesn't seem like she exists in this world with them. But I watched some interviews and then she looks like a natural human being. But like in that, I don't know if they just did her up like too much or something. But she didn't even look like she was on the same planet as the other characters.
You're right. Robot's probably accurate. I mean, we were talking about this offline, that her and Mindy doing like the horror, like bonding when they're like talking about the movies they like. I'm like, what
the fuck? Somebody had a hot take. What was it? The Candyman remake. They're like, both. It's like, no, buddy, no.
No, that was.
And then Kirby liked the final chapter, I think, and Mindy liked Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah,
I can respect that. That's my two favorites, so I can respect that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was like, what the hell? It was a weird conversation. Like, oh yeah, we're in this trap that I set for Ghostface. Let's have a trivia contest right here.
Right. And I think, they wanted to make it seem like they were alike, but really they're not. Mindy is more like the new Randy.
Mm-hmm.
She's not really Kirby. They just did that, I guess, because they're both girls and they knew horror movies. But I thought it was really kind of odd. And Kirby, like you said, she's just not. There was all this talk and this fan thing about Kirby. Is Kirby going to be back? And yeah, that was just a big popcorn fart for me. She didn't do anything really for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it really adds nothing to the movie whatsoever. And then, like, I don't know, like even the main two girls, Sam and Tara. I'll say this: in the first movie, I feel like they emphasized Tara.
Yes,
didn't really do much with Sam. And then in this movie, it's kind of reversed. Sam is kind of like the focal point of this movie, and that's good because I like Sam and I like the character. And then also you got that nothing burger of the therapist that exists to get murdered for his file on Sam.
Yeah, that guy wasn't he like the villain in Mission Impossible 1 or something?
I am not equipped to handle this.
Yes.
I have to call the police. Okay. Yeah, right.
That would never happen in therapy. I'm pretty sure that would never happen in therapy. No. Yeah, like he literally came in the movie just to die. There was nothing about him that really mattered.
God, and that ladder sequence was pretty shitty anyway.
It's
like there is no fucking way that this little bookshelf or whatever is going to hold him for that long. Just conveniently long enough for 3 people to get across this ladder or whatever.
No.
Like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, and I agree about the characters. I feel like Sam and Tara, I liked them more in 5. I just feel like in this one they were like Tara. I mean, she's older, so she's going to be, I guess, a little more rowdy in college. But I didn't like Tara in this one. Sam, I feel like Sam regressed. Like, she's not really growing as a person. Like, and I just don't, I don't know, man. It was really weird to me that these people did 5, these directors, and then they did this one. I don't know if it's that they were rushed. Maybe they were just had to get this out. They weren't thinking about it. Because this, I mean, 5 definitely, to me, feels.
You can tell that it had a lot of thought in it.
Yeah.
And this one does not. This one just feels like you were saying, a rush job.
Yeah.
Whenever Sam lets Tara go with that knife at the end of the movie, correct me, she gets stabbed in the gut too, right? I'm not imagining that. She gets fully stabbed
before she gets the other guy.
She is absolutely fine. I'm like, did I see that? Am I imagining that? Like, did that actually happen, or am I picturing that with all the other characters that also got stabbed in the gut. Kirby, that one girl, her. I mean, how many people get stabbed in that one spot?
Everybody. They all did.
That's like whoever that was their favorite spot to stab somebody. And apparently it's not a lethal spot in these movies.
Well, I mean, under the logic that they've done, like, my gosh, like, Casey Becker from part 1 shouldn't have died.
No,
I mean, like,
fine.
You know, like any of these people, I mean, even Randy, like Randy probably would have like, and the way they're doing this, because I know, because they tease the idea, they make the line in the movie that says, what was it? Stu, if you believe Stu's dead, if you believe he's dead. Like, okay, at this point, if Stu's not dead, totally plausible in this universe, because I'm sitting here thinking, if these motherfuckers can survive all this, yeah, he can survive a TV on the head. Sure. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen. Okay.
Also, dude fucking bought this whole warehouse or whatever for Richie, which I was saying, logistically, there's no way he bought a fucking movie theater in New York City.
No.
That would have been fucking millions of dollars. So no way he buys that. But then he's also like, I changed the information to that Jason guy or whatever from the beginning of the movie saying they owned it.
Yeah.
He's in the fucking FBI. She would have known that he fucking bought that. There is absolutely zero chance. You can't just scrub title purchases off the record. Like, there is no way.
No, because that would have been on like Zillow. It would have been like Zillow information. Like Ethan Bailey. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ethan Bailey bought this. Huh. Like, there is no way.
Yeah. Or, Wayne Bailey. Yeah. It's like that totally would have been, there's no way they could have gotten away with all of that. And like you said, how much would that be in New York? That would be like
millions. Probably tens of millions. I mean, it'd be a ridiculously high price because it's like an old movie theater in New York City, dude. People would be eating that shit up. But instead, a New York City cop detective bought it for his son, who's a huge Stab fan. Yeah, right. Yeah, fucking right.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that, I don't know if it's getting older. I don't know if it's just I've seen too many of these movies. I'm not sure what it is, but you know, my wife is not a slasher fan. She's not a horror fan. So when she watches these things, she didn't watch this one, but when she watches these type of movies, she glaringly can point out all the stupid shit in them immediately. She's like just instantly. I'm getting to where I'm getting that way now. It's like I can accept some of it, but some of it is so dumb. I'm getting tired of the argument of, well, it's a slasher movie. Because I feel like so many people are giving that excuse now of like, well, it's a slasher movie. Well, yeah, but you don't have to be so stupid with the writing. And that's turning into a thing with these movies. Like, at least with Halloween. You know, like Halloween Kills. You know, Michael Myers, at least you can say, well, you know what? He's kind of like supernatural. There's something about him. You can't kill him. At least you can say that, right? In these movies, though, it's like you're getting stabbed multiple times. People are living. A guy with a cop salary in New York is buying a movie theater. Like, it's just, it's not really plausible, like you said.
You know, another thing I'm thinking about too, in the scene where Gail gets attacked, they had set up that sting operation or whatever that Bailey was at. So that means that little Ethan or Quinn was the one who threw Gail's huge boyfriend through that glass.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that would have had to have been one of them.
So they're like insanely strong, apparently.
Yeah, and they were really small. That's ridiculous when you think about it, because they were tiny. Like, they were very tiny.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing about a lot of these movies is I never think about this until after, but what's their plan if someone just pulls the mask off? What's the plan?
Apparently there's no plan.
Yeah, like mid-fight or like when they get knocked out, if someone's just like, oh yeah, by the way, let me just get that off of you. Like, what are you going to do then? You know, like the whole, I mean, I guess that's part of the movie, but I just wish they would be a little more creative about how they like. You know what would be interesting? You were just saying about how they reveal Ghostface early. It would be interesting if they had a movie where they revealed Ghostface early and he didn't wear the mask. He just was walking around killing people and you didn't see him. And so, like, the people getting killed were getting killed by this person, but he wasn't in disguise. He was just like sneaking around, you know?
Right.
That would be kind of different because then it would be like, I mean, I don't know if that would be a Scream movie, but at least it would be something different, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's got a lot of plot holes. I feel like it's like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where they go from here, honestly. I feel like they've teased the whole idea that Sam is going to be a killer like her dad. What is it? Force Ghost Billy when he's in the mirror.
God.
So I don't know if they're going to go through with that. I read, I always read about the Stu stuff, and I mean, and I think Deadpit was talking about this too, like the idea of like if they had Sam in the final movie and Stu together, kind of like as a reincarnation of Billy and Stu. I don't know if that would happen. I mean, that would be interesting. I do think they need to bring Stu back. I think at this point, if you're going to do something, Stu's got to be involved because it's like otherwise that reveal's not going to mean anything, you know?
That would be very interesting, actually, I think. But
yeah.
I kind of doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, Gail's already messed up her character so much. Why not just have her be the killer? I mean, let's just completely ruin her character.
Right.
Or Sydney. But they're like, Sydney's getting the ending she deserved. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Oh man, yeah. How do you feel about the whole idea of Sydney being the killer? Are you for that or no?
I'm for something different.
Yeah.
So if Sydney's the killer, hey, cool with me.
Yeah, I was thinking about the past movies, and I was sitting here thinking, like, who's left that they could bring back that could be tied into this franchise?
Oh my God, it's Mickey's son.
Right.
He's mad. He's mad about what happened.
Oh man.
Billy Loomis's illegitimate son is trying to kill Sam.
Oh, there you go.
God, I don't know. That would be so damn stupid.
Well, I'm trying to think. Like, there's I mean, of all the characters who were around, I mean, there's I know that Sam and Tara's mom, she was brought up in part 5 that she was like a drunk. I don't know if she would ever be a part of it. I mean, and then there's like, there's random people like Casey Becker's like parents on the first one, but they'd be old as shit.
Randy faked his death in Scream 2 and has been secretly orchestrating all the killers since then.
Oh God. He's like the ultimate movie fan.
Yeah, him and Stu are the killers at the end of the
My God. Yeah, that would be insane. Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like there's not a lot left to pull back besides Stu. He's like the only logical one.
And Stu to me is the idiot friend that, kind of tagged along with Billy. He's the idiot accomplice. He would have never done any of that on his own. So like him being this mastermind that's like this killer, I just don't see it. But Sam and Stu, maybe, like you were saying, to be the new Billy and Stu. Interesting. But Stu being the mastermind, no.
He was too goofy.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I just don't see it. I don't know though. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, I agree though. He doesn't really have the like the patience and he would be too like eager to be involved. Like I feel like by now he would be like, "Whoa, it's me!" Like he would just pop up somewhere. He wouldn't be like masterminding this, like you said. It is unfortunate that Billy's dead because I do think if Billy had survived, that would be the best thing. Like I just think Billy's like the best killer they've had. He's the first. He's the best, in my opinion. He's the scariest. Like, I feel like if you, and Skeet Ulrich, it seems like he can still act. Even in the Force Ghost things, like he's not bad when he's acting. So, man, that would have been cool if they could have brought him back. But
did you watch the after credits sequence?
Yes.
The amazing after credits sequence. Jesus.
What a bummer.
That was like, that made me, you know what? Whenever I originally watched the Evil Dead remake, I was so damn pissed when I saw it. I was just mad at the world. And then that came on and showed Ash, and he was like groovy. I was like freaking pissed. I was like, really?
That's what we get. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I get. Like, Jesus.
Man. So what is this, as far as, where does this rank with you with everything? How do you feel about it overall? Do you know where to rank it, or are you still not sure?
Yeah, I actually put it together on Letterboxd earlier. So I've got Scream. It's my favorite. Then Scream 2. Still great. Love it. Then Scream 5. Still like it. Great movie. Then Scream 3. It's okay. It's pretty good, not great. Then this one. And then Scream 4.
Yeah, that's pretty much me. I've got that order. I'm the only difference is 2 and 1. I'm 2, then 1, then 5, then 3, then 6, then 4.
Although, to be honest, I had a really long thought as to whether or not this was worse than 4 or not.
Yeah, I mean,
because I mean it's got quite a bit of issues. And I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Scream 3 a lot, but to me that one's infinitely better.
Scream 3 is pretty good. Scream 3 still has pretty good jump scares, and I think that opening, I mean, even though it's silly with Creed, I love that opening with Cotton Weary. I think that's really effective, like the way they did that. I think 5 is better than this for sure. I mean, 5 to me feels a lot like how Halloween 2018 did. It's a good, solid movie. When you look back on it, you're like, wow, it's actually really good. Like, and this just made me realize that 5 was better. You know?
That was, I mean, 5 to me is way better. I mean, it's just very competent, you know, and like we were saying, it's a movie that you can tell there was a lot of thought put into, as opposed to this one, which was just like a rush job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like 5 quite a bit more than this one.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know why, a lot of people think this is their favorite. I don't know if they're just jumping on the New York setting. That doesn't do much for me. I mean, I don't know. I hope whatever they do with 7, I hope it's in Woodsboro. I don't want them to stay in New York, you know. But
I hope there's something interesting that happens in the new one. That's all I hope. Something different. That would be good. If there's something different, I'll like it, hopefully. But as it stands, I just didn't really like it. It just didn't, you know, the ending just ruined it for me, honestly, just because I was so damn disappointed. I was hoping for something different, but it was just like, who are these people? I don't give a shit about any of these people. You know, like they were nothing characters before, you know, like if it was Chad and Mindy or something like that, that would have been like, you know, that would have been insane, you know, but it wasn't.
No, I mean, the people that died, yeah, you're right. It's kind of flat. I mean, the more I talk about it, I'm with you. It's definitely in the bottom 2. I don't know if I like it worse than, I think I like it a little more than 4, but in the same sense, it's not. I think earlier today, in my mind, I would have put 3, 5, and 6 grouped together. Now, there's no way. When I'm thinking about it, 5 and 3 are better. It's just, yeah.
And like, that was Mindy's girlfriend that fell off the ladder, right?
I guess so. Yeah, it was.
She definitely very little reaction to that.
Right.
And then also that character, barely in the movie at all. No character whatsoever.
Yeah,
but when it happens, she gets stabbed and she's coming across the ladder. It's like, okay, yeah, she's gonna get flung off the ladder. There's no like question about it. Like she's not making it across this ladder.
Yeah, it was that was a weird reaction from her, and I don't know. It's funny when I read some reviews before them, because unfortunately I knew some of the spoilers of deaths and stuff, and someone had brought up that character in a review somewhere, and they were just like, "Oh, it was so sad when she died," and that was the opposite of what I felt. I was just kind of like, "Well, that sucks."
Who is that?
Random girl.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, "Who in the hell? Who?"
Yeah, it just didn't.
Oh my god.
I thought it was cool that in the beginning, I will say, I liked the Jason Takes Manhattan footage that he's watching on the TV. And I don't know if you thought this, maybe it's just me, but when he opens the fridge, I felt like that was an homage to 2. Like when he opens she opens the fridge and she sees Mrs. Voorhees' head. Was that kind of what they were doing? That's what it felt like.
That's what I thought too.
But I mean, that was cool. So it's not, it's definitely at the bottom of the list, and I don't know where they go from here. I mean, who knows? I'm less excited now. I made the mistake of hyping myself up and thinking this was going to be great, and I think I just got disappointed.
All right, Halloween Ends over Scream 6.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think Halloween Ends is way better than this.
Better movie, way more interesting.
Halloween Kills is infinitely better than this.
Way more fun.
Yes.
We'll be talking about those movies way longer. We'll be talking about Scream 6. Scream 6 was ultimately a giant nothing.
Yeah. I think that in a few years, Scream 6 could be like Scream 4. People will just look back badly on it,
I don't know, man. People freaking love Scream 4 now. And I've seen a ton of people saying Scream 6 is their second favorite. Like, oh, I loved it. I loved it. And I'm like, what happened in it for you to love it?
Yeah, it just didn't work. I don't know. I think that's probably what I'm feeling. I think my confusion was probably just accepting disappointment, because the more I'm thinking, I need to watch it again, but I am feeling more disappointed about it when I think about it more.
See, right before I watched that, I finished watching a show. And I was like, it was so damn good. So I came off like a high and then was like let down. Because season 4, part 2 of You came out, and I watched that, and that was so good. And then I watched Scream 6. I was like, damn, that was not good.
I need to watch that. That is a great show. That's awesome.
Oh my god, it was really good. I would recommend that show to anyone.
Yeah, that's probably way better than this, but I guess we'll wrap it up this week. So I know we were talking about future episodes. What we have in the future, maybe we're looking at an episode on VHS, favorite VHS releases ever, favorite odd VHS releases, just in our collection.
Just showing off some of our cool VHS tapes, ones that we like, and ones we think maybe unique or something like that. Just showing off some cool shit.
Yeah. And then we also talked about maybe favorite physical releases at some point. That'd be a cool one too, like DVD, Blu-ray, that kind of stuff. So that'd be fun. But I guess that's it for this week. And I am John.
And I'm Josh. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and like it, and hit that bell button and all the other buttons. Every button, click it. Except for unsubscribe. Don't click the unsubscribe.
If you do, click subscribe again.
Yes. Click it twice if you're going to hit the unsubscribe button.
And we'll see y'all later.